Hey everyone, and welcome to Cozying Up with a Clear Cut, where we get up close and personal with women that inspire us. Today, we're chatting with Sarah Godshaw. She is the founder of Sidway Swim. She walks us through her career path, designing swimwear for larger brands, and finally launching her own namesake swimwear line.
I don't want to be relying on someone else to make sure I get maternity leave and make sure I have enough money, and if I get let go, then I'm screwed. And I just want to have control, and I want to own something that I feel like I can build and have ownership of and have flexibility.
It was so amazing hearing how she juggles motherhood and entrepreneurship. Certainly inspired me, and I'm sure it'll inspire you. We also talk about her sentimental pieces of jewelry and play with some of our favorite clear-cut bling. Today, we are with the amazing Sarah Sidway Godshaw, founder of Sidway Swim. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Olivia.
Of course. So Sarah has this amazing swimwear brand, and we really want to kind of start from the beginning and figure out, how did you get into swimwear to begin with? Like, did you always have a knack for designing growing up? Like, tell us where these roots originated from.
Awesome. Will do. So I think everybody that's in the fashion design industry has kind of these cute childhood stories, and mine is just that I remember being in 3rd and 4th grade, and I would tell my friends oh, you need a new wardrobe. And I would draw on a piece of printer paper them in the middle, and I have really bad drawing skills. My natural drawing skills are incredibly poor, so these 4th grade drawings were horrible. And there's the girl in the middle, like a paper doll, and then I would draw her school uniform and how she really should be styling it. I would draw her weekend clothes, her pizza nut Friday, no uniform day clothes, and it would be called Alexandra's wardrobe or Emily's wardrobe. And on top of that, my mom and I definitely bonded a lot shopping, and my dad owns a luggage company, and they do a lot of travel goods and travel accessories and a lot of handbags. So I think I always grew up sort of in this focus on creating consumer goods. So for me, when I decided to go into fashion, I always thought I would go into it on less of the artistic side and more of the business management side. So I started at community college. I started early. I dropped out of high school. So I started at SMC when I was 15 and a half or 16.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was kind of a dumb idea, but it worked out in the end. And I planned on going to UCLA and doing a international business major and learning Mandarin. And I was I'm just going to be Miss MBA.
Yeah.
And I started at SMC, and I took a couple fashion illustration classes, and I kind of thought they were really fun. And then I started taking the Mandarin classes, and turns out they were incredibly difficult.
Hard, yes.
I learned nothing.
I've been studying Mandarin literally since the day I was born, and I still can't speak it.
Okay, that's really comforting, because the teacher would just be Sarah, maybe next week you should try to study. And I'd be I've been studying every night.
It's so hard.
Yeah, so it was just too hard. It wasn't really my calling, and I think that I learned that at SMC, which is probably good. I got that out of the way. And there was a girl that was in my Chinese class who was taking the class because she was a handbag designer for, I think, Isabel Fiore she worked for. And I was oh, what school did you go to? And she was I went to Otis, but you won't be able to get in. And if you do get in, you won't be able to finish. It's really hard.
What is Otis?
Otis is kind of like the Parsons of LA. It's really small. It's like a fancy art school. And I was oh, I'm going to go to Otis. That's it. I'm doing it. So my boyfriend at the time was an artist, and I was not. And I was you got to help me. I called admissions. I sat down. I was show me an example of the kind of work I need to get in. So I just took a weekend, and I was still life, done. Life drawing, done. And I just wrote a good enough essay, and somehow I weaseled my way in. And I think I just really learned the artistic skills as more of a practical thing to need to know, and less of a fine art artistic venture than most of the other students. So halfway through, I was thinking it was the second out of 4 years, and everybody wanted to move to New York, and they wanted to design for Calvin Klein, and they wanted to do runway, and it just didn't seem like they were thinking about if they were going to get paid and how much they were going to get paid and like what their life was going to be like. And I was like, I want to own a business. I'm not trying to like starve in New York City.
Yeah.
So I decided to focus on swim and lingerie because it's a huge industry here in LA, and it's really easy to get a job, and there's very few people focusing on it. Otis is like one of the few good design schools in LA, so there was very little competition for these jobs. So right out of school, I got an amazing job. I started working at like a big swimwear conglomerate now it's called Manhattan Beachwear, and I was doing Rampage Women's Swim. I was doing the license and just like managing a little department, and I just got so much further, so much faster because I decided to like focus on something specific instead of just be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
So I just kind of stuck with it.
And I think that's kind of the way, at least in general, if you want to have your own business or start something, to be like niche and cater to like one specific community than trying to like do it all for everyone, because then you find like your community and people that are like so about it, kind of like what we do too.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not different at all.
So after you were working at that big swimwear corporation, like what led you to, what was your next job after that, or like why did you decide to leave?
So I loved it there, and I did so many different brands. I mean, I did like private label for Target, private label
and you were designing all of it.
Designing all of it, and an assistant and pattern makers, and it was so hands-on. We had a sample room. I mean, I learned an insane amount. But at the end of the day, they were moving all of the headquarters to Orange County. And there was just like only so much I could really grow there. I felt like I'd learned so much, but something was kind of telling me to look. So I looked and I saw Nasty Gal was hiring, and they wanted someone to launch their in-house lingerie and swimwear. And at the time, Nasty Gal was like...
What year was this?
Oh, God. What year is it now?
It's 2020.
Maybe it was like 2012.
That was when it was like Nasty Gal was like the coolest thing ever.
It was like hands down. It was where I was getting all of my reference inspo for all of my private label design work. It was like the coolest of the cool.
Yeah.
And at the time I got really lucky because I was designing within that corporate swim job, I was designing a line called Bikini Lab, which was their like juniors brand. Mm-hmm. And we had a suit that Nasty Gal bought, and it was their #1 seller. So it
what was
like,
the suit?
It was this neon, it was called Sorry for Party Blocking, or Sorry for Color Blocking. It was like a play on that song. Yeah. It's really classic. And it was like kind of the Mondrian art inspired. Mm-hmm. It was a neon with black color block. And so when I went to interview for Nasty Gal, at first they didn't want to see me. They wanted 7 years experience. I think I had 4, maybe 3.5. And I lived across the street from the office.
Oh, that's so convenient.
Yeah, so I just like went over and dropped off my book and kept writing my future boss on LinkedIn, like, hi, her name was Sarah Wilkinson, and she was the VP of design. I'd be like, hi, Sarah, I live across the street, hoping you'll look at this. And eventually she had me in, and I just like weaseled my way in. Yeah, I was like, I promise I'll do a good job. I understand the customer. I understand like how to design cool stuff at a low price. And
yeah,
it was just amazing. I loved it there. It was such an amazing community of young, hip, and extremely ambitious people. I feel like usually when you're just social, you meet people that are one or the other. And it was really interesting to see girls that were wearing like sports bras and bike shorts with platform sneakers as their work outfit.
Yeah.
But they weren't, they weren't working retail. They were like running our planning department or, working in legal or PR or being taken really seriously and able to still be young and fashion forward and kind of sexy.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I definitely probably bought like a bunch of swimwear from Nasty Gal that you probably designed in the past.
Probably the reason for some pretty crazy tan lines. Like caging. And,
yeah. What were some of like your favorite pieces or like moments from that time?
I think that just being able to like build that department was really exciting.
So you were like, they didn't have a swimwear lingerie department. Did you like spearhead that whole department?
Yeah, so they had a buyer, to be clear. Like it wasn't like they didn't carry swimwear. They did, but they bought it all.
And it wasn't like in-house Nasty Gal.
It wasn't by Nasty Gal. It was by other brands. They had carried like For Love and Lemons and kind of those kind of things. They didn't have that, or they didn't have in-house lingerie, but they were seeing, they had their own in-house apparel. They had just launched, and they were seeing that their swim and lingerie was doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just exciting to be like 4 years experience and go to a company where people that were 20 years older than I was in some cases were being, or maybe 15. I guess nobody at the whole company was 20 years older than me. But they would say like, well, you're the expert, Sarah. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, am I the expert? I feel like a teenager.
So you probably learned like so much.
I mean, we had to like find factories and do all the, I was leading all the fittings. I had learned so much, and I thought I knew a lot, but working there, I just learned so much more about the big picture of the business, because I worked really closely with the buying team, and I learned a lot about margins. I wasn't just like in my design silo. I was kind of allowed to learn about the rest of the business. But when we would have our quarterly office all hands meetings, I remember a couple times Sophia was announcing that like swim was like the top performing category. It was like May or June, and I just was like, wow, like swim outperformed like dresses and shoes one month. And I was like, so that was like a pretty exciting moment. I felt like, wow, like I started a multi-million-dollar category.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, when I was like, you know what, like I've got to start my own thing on the side, because I think I have the skills now to do it.
And did they allow you to start your own thing on the side?
I didn't really ask like that. Well, what I did was I had a freelance job lined up that was like 30 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put in my notice at Nasty Gal, and I was like, I'm really sorry, but like, I was single, and I had a dog. But other than that, I had a lot of spare time. And I was like, I'm in my 20s. Like, I should be working my ass off. And I have way too much time to like hang out at the neighborhood bar.
Yeah.
And I think I could do this job.
So
and
you
5 others.
So you weren't just like, I have a great job, I'm just gonna coast, like this is my dream job and I have so much extra time. You're like, I want to work more and like do more.
No, because I already ran the department, so like
it's
since
like,
I
what else
only
could you
did
do?
swim, they couldn't. It wasn't like I'm gonna get promoted to like CEO with only swimwear experience.
Yeah.
And there already was the CEO, and she was like a lot more experienced than I was. It wasn't. I didn't have a lot of room to grow. So I just said like, hey, like I want to start my own line. I'm going to take this other job. Like this is my notice. And I was like, if you need, before you find someone, I can like on an hourly scale do the design work still and just like pop in for the meetings. And at first it was temporary, and then it just became the way we worked. So it was kind of awesome because I still got to do my entire job as well as my new job and start Sidway. And I was like up till 2 a.m. every night.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Making bank and like launching my company, and all the money I was making, I was putting it into my brand and buying the inventory and, you know, learning how to use Shopify and, you know, domains and taxes. And
all those things that you're like, it's like sounds so fun to like start your own thing. You're like, wait, these are all the things I have to deal with. Yeah. So what year was that when you decided to kind of start your own thing?
2016. And then we launched in 2017.
Okay, cool. So you had like been working at Nasty Gal for a couple of years. How long did you do like both at the same time?
About a year.
And what was like that motivating factor where you're like, I have to like dedicate full time to Sidway?
I think for me, I just really wanted to. I felt like, and this isn't really true, like my clock wasn't ticking in the way that, but I think we all sort of have this feeling of like, oh my God, I'm getting older and I need to set my life up like for adulthood.
Yeah.
And I think I just felt like, I hope that I meet someone, and I hope I get married soon, and I have a kid soon, and I don't want to be relying on someone else to make sure I get maternity leave and make sure I have enough money, and if I get let go, then I'm screwed. And I just want to have control, and I want to own something that I feel like I can build and have ownership of and have flexibility. And that's kind of what I have now. I mean, it's been a really fun journey, and it's by no means like the world's biggest company, but it's enough for me, and it's growing, and I'm really enjoying it.
So, because before you were having like, you were working at Nasty Gal still and still doing it on your own, but did you feel like you weren't giving it like 110% since you still had to kind of split your time?
I think I always feel like that.
Yeah.
I think there's always that, like, as someone who's creative especially, there's always like, oh, that could have been better, that could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
But no, because I mean, I was actually even doing a third job, working for a third company at that time, and actually a fourth. I was working for 4 companies.
Oh my God.
like 10 or 15
just
hours. Just
designing for all those.
Designing, and in some cases, overseeing the production and the whole development of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think I had more time. I didn't have a child, and I, at that point, actually had met someone, and we were in a really settled, calm relationship where I felt like this is my partner. We're going to be together for life, and I can like calm down, and I don't need to spend all my weeknights going on dates.
Yeah.
And I don't need to sit and drink a bottle of wine with my friends 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And it turns out I had a lot more time than I thought.
Awesome. So, 2017, you decided to go full force into your own brand, Sidway Swim.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, you know, what makes Sidway Swim unique. What's kind of like the vibe, the aesthetic, and why did you choose to go that direction? Because you had such a wide variety of. You probably designed like all sorts of things that may not even be your personal style.
Yeah.
Like, how did you choose the vision?
So, what's been fun to me about designing is I really love designing for a brand that is established and knows who they are, because then it's like I don't have to think like, who am I? What do I want as a designer? And so I had basically just done that. There were very few projects where I thought like, oh, I would wear that. Like a Nasty Gal, we did some stuff where I was like, that would be me. But Nasty Gal was very strappy and cagey and overtly sexy, and while I wore that stuff sometimes, it wasn't really me. And I did Nanette Lepore swim for a season, and that was really cute. But it's very mature and a little bit retro, and it's very print heavy, and that wasn't really me either. And I wanted some suits that worked for my body, that felt sophisticated and trendy, without being overly fussy and without being sporty. I'm just like not a sporty person.
Yeah.
I'm not fitnessy. I mean, I try to work out sometimes, but when I want to go to the pool, I just want to have a really cute outfit, and I want it to like work in the water. If I'm going to go like jet skiing or some sort of really extreme water sport, like I'm just gonna have to wear a different brand. That's just not what I'm designing for. I just want to like look real cute.
I just want to like lay by the pool or the beach and like maybe like dip in once in a while when I'm too hot.
Same. I'm like, I just need something that like is as cute as my outfit.
Yes.
So that was kind of just what I did, and I think the look of it with the ties and the really shiny fabric and the high cut legs just kind of came out of what I'm wanting to wear right now. If in a few years they want to wear something different, that the look of it will evolve. And I think that's something I learned from Nasty Gal, is like we did the black strappy thing I think for too long, and when that wasn't what people were wearing anymore, we were still making it. And I think I'm trying to like be really aware of that with my own brand now, is okay, when I'm feeling like I want to wear a different kind of swimsuit, like I should evolve the brand. Like I can't get stuck and then become outdated.
Yeah, totally. And what do you think are like some swimwear trends that we are going to be seeing in the near future?
So I think we're getting back into prints. We were having a real run of solid swimsuits being a thing. Everyone was wearing, solid black, solid white, solid red. That was like really the thing for a while.
That's like all I bought last year.
Yeah, and the rib, like the subtle texture and the solid.
Yes.
I think we're getting back to prints, and I think what's also changed about swim in the last like 5 to 10 years is it used to be a very specific category that it evolved very slowly, and now it is just as fast as apparel. So it's like if you buy a new top, you want a new swimsuit. Every
like couple of months, I feel like it's like a new look that like you have to have. And also now I think with like Instagram, can't. I remember when I was younger, I would have like 3 bikinis and I would just wear them for like years on end. But now it's like I can wear this like 2 times if I like take an Instagram photo in it, and like done. Now it's dead. Like I can't wear it anymore.
Yeah, it's true. I think that I think it's been really that's the hard thing about Instagram. Yeah. It's like I think it's like you used to be able. It's like the new all your clothes are prom dresses now.
Yes.
But yeah, we hope that people wear the swimsuits as often as they can, and like. I'm trying to make stuff that people feel like they can incorporate it into their vacation look. And have it not be, like it used to be, because it was like, oh, I've got my tri-top and my tie-side, and I think those are still important staples, but like that looks horrible on me. Yeah. I'm like a soft-bodied person, so I don't want like a tiny string.
That's exactly. I had like 3 swimsuits. They were all like the tie, like triangle bikinis and the tie on the side.
Or like that Victoria's Secret push-up that everyone had, and then Target knocked it off, and all the teenagers had these like giant boobs at the beach. So crazy.
And it's like so much padding. It's like, I know what's going on.
You get out of the pool and you're squished.
Oh my god, those trends are so funny.
So I think what I'm seeing coming up though is we were really early 90s focused. I think we're seeing some 80s prints come in, and I think we're seeing some of that like late 90s lower straight cut kind of boy leg. I don't think that'll be as big of a trend as the high leg, but I think I see it coming, and I think it'll be good for the women that have like really long flat stomachs. It's gonna be great for it. People like me that have like short torsos.
Well, yeah, because I love that this like high-legged, high-waisted trend has been going on for a while, because I'm like, it's so flattering for like, I'm short with short legs, but yeah, the like low-waisted whatever, I'm like, I gotta like work my lower abs out more with this.
I think that trend's just not going to be for everyone. Like, I look back at when we were all wearing like the Frankie V jeans, and I think that was a bad time for most women. Britney Spears did it, and that was
where
kind
like
of
the button was like right above like your underwear.
Yeah, the zipper is like this long.
Yeah.
I think my toddler's jeans have a longer fly.
Oh my god. So what are some things that we can look out for at Sidway? Like, are you launching a new collection? What are some fun things that we can look out for in whatever is coming up in the future?
So we actually just launched some new stuff for 2020. I'm really excited about it. We found that like browns do really well for us. We had this brown print with white dots that was, I think we were the first people to do the brown and white dot, and it really like put us on the map. And so this year I'm trying to stay true to that and do more browns and ivories and blacks. So we did I think it's a tiger. It's kind of zebra-ish.
So like a subtle like neutral print.
Yeah, it's an animal print, but it reads kind of like 90s Escada. It's ivory ground with black and brown subtle stripes, and I try to think of it like a modern day Dynasty vibe. Like, it's a little understated safari, but it still feels very glamorous. And then we did a solid brown that's a really shimmery, shiny copper, and that we did in our best-selling bodies, which is our high-waisted, high-leg bottom, and our square neck top. And then we also added scrunchies this year.
Oh, nice.
Which I just think it's fun to like have a little accessory to tie back.
Yes.
And it helps us use some of our excess fabric and reduce their carbon footprint. So that's kind of nice too.
Yeah, and I think that like neutral, like brown vibe, I've seen that so much recently, and it's just so flattering when you're like getting a tan, you know, and like almost like every like skin tone, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it kind of reads sophisticated. I don't know.
Yeah.
How to make people feel fancy.
Yeah. Awesome. And we always ask all of our guests, what is your spark? Like, what is that thing inside you that like motivates you and like keeps you going?
I think the need to be flexible and feel like I own something and then I have control over it. I don't know if that's the healthiest drive, but that's mine.
And like, where do you see Sidway Swim in the next like couple years? Like, what is like your vision for the brand going forward?
I would love to. Right now, it's growing pretty fast, and I'm like really excited for it. So I feel like I have to kind of start planning. And what I would love to be able to do is to sell enough swimsuits that I can make enough revenue to produce more styles at once, and to really grow our e-com business. You know, we went last year, we tried to do a lot of wholesale, and it was really exciting, but I think in the end with the margins and the sales reps fees and the showroom or the trade shows, it just like kind of came out to be a loss. So this year we're putting most of our eggs in the e-com basket.
So like directly from your website.
Yeah, directly from our website, and I'm just seeing a much higher return, and I really like having that relationship with the customer directly. Like, I do most of the emails, and I'm the one writing you that personal note. So if you're emailing us or DMing me and you're saying, I'm a 32E and a 22-inch waist with 40-inch hips, I mean, you should see I'm like, damn, girl, you got it. What swimsuit should I get? Like, I love being able to answer those questions, and maybe I'm just a control freak, but I just like want to have it all in my store if I can, or as much of it as I can.
Yeah, totally. Control over like your brand and like the direction that it's going in. So, just let's get over here. So we always gift all of our guests a spark ring. So this is basically, if it's not your size, we can give you the proper one.
The answer is yes.
So it's just a little daily reminder of that like spark and that hustle. So if you're having a bad day or something's a little bit challenging, you can look down and kind of get that motivation.
It's beautiful and it fits.
Yay! And if it doesn't, we can always send you a
It does. No, this is fine.
Awesome.
This one, don't you worry. You're mine now.
And we think that jewelry, like the spark ring and all of that, can represent, so much more than just like a piece of like a luxury item. There's a lot of like sentimental value that can go into it. So we always ask everyone to bring a piece of jewelry that may be extra special to you. Yeah. Did you bring a piece to show us?
I did. I did my homework. Okay, so this necklace.
I was looking at that necklace. It was so cool.
Thank you.
I love it.
You know what's funny is we've used it for a few photo shoots because it looks cute with the swimsuit. And I guess I'm not disappointed when most of the comments are about the jewelry, but I'm a little bit like, sadly, we don't sell jewelry. But a lot of people have asked, like, where can I get that necklace? And I mean, you can't really.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you probably could get something like it created, but basically, my dad's parents fled Nazi Germany, a Jewish German, and when they came to the States and kind of started over, they had nothing, and when they started to have a little bit, they wanted to like get some things they could kind of invest in and like keep in the family. And so there was like a bicentennial Canadian coin, and they bought them, and they were these gold coins, and they kept them, and then they gave them to their sons, and they're older, and my dad had it. And then this chain, my dad's girlfriend before my mom got for him, and my parents were on one of their first dates. My mom was like, "Why are you wearing a necklace? You look stupid." And who gave that to you? Your ex-girlfriend? And she like playfully tugged on it, but she broke it. And so then when he got it fixed, he was like, "Here, you could have this chain. Like, you might as well have it now because I'm not allowed to wear it anyway." Yeah. And eventually my dad got the coin, got like this little frame put on it and the little hoop, and it's just been in my parents' household for a while, and I was like, "Oh, I'll take that."
That's so awesome. So there's like, I love when there's like a family like history and story, and like it's an heirloom now that you can like pass down.
Completely. Yeah, I just gotta not lose it. My parents all the time are like, "You still have that necklace, right?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I still have it."
Oh my god, yeah, the pressure to like not lose it.
Yeah, they're like, "Well, I saw it on Instagram. I hope that model doesn't have it." I'm like, "No, I have it. I got it back."
Oh my god, that's awesome. How would you describe like your jewelry kind of personal style?
So I really like stuff that's noticeable. I'm a sucker for a compliment. So I feel like if I don't get compliments on it, I get kind of like, "Oh, it wasn't really a good purchase." But I like stuff that's kind of nostalgic and like 90s and just a little bit quirky. So I don't know, with my wedding ring, I just went really basic. My husband was like, "What do you want?" Like, think of like what a child would draw when they draw an engagement ring. Like a 90s gold band with like one stone. I was like, that's what I want, and that's kind of the beginning and the end of my diamond knowledge. And that's what I got, and I love it. But I like,
and you can't go wrong with that.
No, you can't. And I'm like, if I ever want to get like some trendy band, I can. But I just want something that's like not of the moment.
Yes.
And then I think I just like sort of nostalgic, quirky.
I know that you mentioned you like tennis bracelets, right? And they're kind of like 90s and classic.
So 90s
I wear mine every single day.
I was noticing that. It's beautiful.
And this is like our tennis bracelet
this is gorgeous.
Sell, and it's actually like really popular, and I feel like it's something like it's a staple piece that you can have, and it kind of like doesn't go out of style, and if it is like a little bit, reminds you of your mom or like the country club or whatever, you can like stack it and like make some like funky stuff.
But I think if you're dressed cool, like you are,
we're dressed like the same. Too,
yeah, so. Like we both
we're dressed cool.
We're dressed we're like really cool girls. But I think that it reads as like interesting and nostalgic and not like basic.
And it's something that you can that you can pass down too. And we have this like cool tennis
that's gorgeous
choker.
too. oh my God, that's like a 90s dream
Yes,
necklace.
so it's like a tennis bracelet, but as a choker, and you can also like adjust the length if you want.
That is
a
dream.
Yeah.
Imagine
so this
this
is like
on
one
like
of my
Julia
favorite
Roberts
pieces.
in Pretty Woman with a little dress. Mm-hmm. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like,
and you could like wear it with like your longer, like funkier necklaces. So
yeah, these are gorgeous.
Thank you.
You guys do a great job.
Thank you. So yeah,
Very cool.
I thought these were like perfect for like our 90s like classic vibe.
They're absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And they're exactly doing that job where
They would go well with your swimsuits, right?
yeah, they totally would. They're like glamorous and sophisticated, but there's a little bit of playfulness to them because it's like not what everybody is wearing.
Yeah,
It
it's
kind of
not
makes
like a
it interesting.
serious diamond necklace. It's kind of something that you can wear like with a t-shirt and jeans or in, you know, a dress on a red carpet.
Like your mother-in-law will think that's beautiful, and your teenage babysitter will think that's so cool.
Yeah,
you know, it's kind of like the win-win. Yeah,
Totally.
Really beautiful pieces.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you just launched your newest collection.
Just launched our newest collection.
It's available where?
It's available on Sidway.com.
Sidway.com. Where can everyone follow you, follow the new pieces, keep tabs on all of your movements?
On Instagram, of course, at Sidway Swim, SIDWAYSWIM.
And if you guys want to see all the beautiful pieces we were looking at today, check out our YouTube. We're at The Clear Cut. And of course, follow us on Instagram at The Clear Cut. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
This was so much fun.
This was so fun. I didn't know what to expect, and I loved this.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Tune in next week, and we'll see you soon.
That was so amazing. I loved hearing about Sarah's journey and how she started her own swimwear line. If you guys want to see any of the beautiful jewels we were playing with, head over to our IGTV and our Instagram at The Clear Cut or our YouTube channel at The Clear Cut. And if you have any inspiring women that you love to see on our podcast, please send me a note on DMs at The Clear Cut. Thanks for tuning in, and check us out every Monday to get inspired and sparkly.